If you're hearing this right now, it isn't a coincidence. Something in you called this moment forward, like a silent magnet pulling you here, reminding you that your story is not finished. The fact that these words are reaching you is proof that there's still a chapter you haven't written, a vision you haven't birthed, a life you haven't yet lived in its fullness. You may have been telling yourself you're done, that your time passed, that the collapse you endured was the end. But deep down, beneath the weight of every doubt, there's a quiet knowing that refuses to die. That knowing is why you're here. Let's be honest. You've been carrying the memory of failure like a stone in your chest. It wasn't just a small stumble, was it? It felt like the earth split beneath your feet and swallowed every ounce of trust you once had. You gave everything, you risked your heart, and you believed so fully that the universe itself seemed to betray you. The ground crumbled, the walls fell, and what you thought was unshakable dissolved into dust. That memory still haunts you. It whispers in the back of your mind every time you dare to dream again. It says, don't trust, don't try, don't risk it, stay safe among the ruins. And that's what you've been doing, isn't it? You've been decorating the wreckage, convincing yourself that tending to broken pieces is enough. You tell yourself you're healing, you tell yourself you're being careful, but in truth you've been hiding. Because deep inside, it is easier to arrange flowers on rubble than it is to rebuild something that could collapse again. Easier to trace patterns on cracked walls than to dig new foundations. Easier to live in half-light than risk reaching for the sun. You've mistaken survival for living. You've mistaken safety for purpose. But let me break this illusion for you. The ruins are not sacred. They are not where you belong. They are not the full measure of your existence. They are simply evidence that you dared once before. They are proof that you tried. Proof that you believed enough to build. They are fossils of courage, not markers of your end. And if you think the ruins are safer than creation, ask yourself this. Why does a part of you still ache? Why does your chest tighten when you think about what might have been? That ache is not punishment. It's memory. It's your soul reminding you that you were born for more than rubble. Every scar you carry tells a story of love, of risk, of daring. But scars are not cages. They are not verdicts. They are maps. Lines etched across your being pointing toward the wisdom you've earned. You learned that things fall apart. You learned that certainty shatters. But what you didn't learn, or maybe what you forgot, is that collapse isn't the opposite of creation. It's part of the cycle. Collapse clears space. Collapse prepares the ground. Collapse shakes you out of illusions so you can build again with clarity. The fear you carry is not really fear of failure. It is fear of your own magnitude. Fear that if you pour everything into your dream again, the universe might snatch it away. Fear that your heart can't survive another breaking. But let me tell you, your heart is stronger than the structures you lost. The evidence is right here. You're still breathing, still seeking, still listening. Feel into this moment. Notice the pulse in your chest. That's not just biology, that's persistence. That's life refusing to surrender. That's the spark reminding you that endings are illusions. You are still here because your soul has not finished its task. You are still here because something magnificent still wants to be born through you. And the truth is, the ruins are not your destiny. They are your initiation. Every stone that fell, every wall that cracked, every promise that dissolved, they were teachers. They were asking you, will you stop here or will you dare again? Think about it. The last time you built with innocence. You believed without question. You were untested. And when it all came down, you thought the collapse meant you weren't meant to create. But what if the collapse was the training ground? What if the breaking was the doorway to a deeper kind of strength? Because the next time you build, it will not be with naivety. It will not be blind. It will be with eyes open, scars visible, wisdom embedded into every choice. That kind of building cannot be shaken easily. That kind of creation has roots that no storm can rip apart. There's a voice in you that has been quiet for too long. You've buried it beneath logic, beneath excuses, beneath distractions. But it still whispers at night when the world is silent. It asks, what if I tried again? What if I opened myself once more? You silence it because you think it's dangerous to hope. But that whisper is not dangerous. It is sacred. It's the call of your own becoming. And no matter how much you suppress it, it won't vanish. Because it isn't coming from your mind. It's coming from your essence. You were not designed to wither in ruins. You were made to rise, to expand, to create something so aligned with your soul that the entire field of reality shifts in response. Look around at your life right now. Be honest. Have you been settling for half-light? Have you convinced yourself that making do with fragments is enough? You already know the answer. That restless energy in your chest, that constant searching, that sense that something is missing. It's proof that you're not finished. Proof Proof that the ruins are not the end. Proof that the cycle is waiting for you to step back in. You can keep pretending you're satisfied, but your soul will never stop nudging you. And if you've been waiting for a sign, let me make it clear. This is it. This is the moment. This is the interruption of the loop. This is the reminder that you are not done here. So what now? You can retreat into safety, keep tending the ruins, keep telling yourself that this is enough. Or you can decide right here to rise again. Not as the dreamer you once were, but as the creator you've become through every fracture, every fall, every scar. You can take the wisdom carved into your being and let it be the foundation for something greater. You can choose to stop curating what broke and start constructing what wants to live. The question is not whether you're ready. The question is whether you're willing. Willing to risk again. Willing to believe again. Willing to declare to the universe that you are unfinished, that your story is still unfolding, that your ruins are not your resting place. Because here's the truth, you are not broken. You are breaking open. And everything you thought was the end was really the preparation for a beginning you couldn't see yet. You are not at the final chapter. You are at the threshold. And the moment you choose to step forward, the entire field of reality will bend to meet you. There's something extraordinary I want you to see. The ruins you've been staring at are not just evidence of endings. They are quantum symbols of potential. In the same way that particles exist in multiple states until they're observed. Your life, right, now is suspended between the one who gave up and the one who begins again. Both exist. Both are real. Both are possibilities alive within you. The question is not whether you are capable. The question is, which version of you will you choose to observe into existence? That is the mystery of creation most people never grasp. They think life is fixed, that once something has collapsed, it's over. But in the quantum field, nothing is ever over. Energy does not vanish, it transforms. The dream that shattered did not die. It became compost. It became information. It became raw material for the next evolution of your becoming. You thought you were starting again from zero, but you're not. You're beginning with everything you've lived. Everything you've learned, everything you've endured. You've been taught to fear collapse, but collapse is simply proof of expansion. It is the universe stripping away what cannot hold the next frequency of your growth. And yet, every time you chose safety over risk, you broadcast a signal to the field that said, I am small, I am finished, I will not rise again. The universe, faithful mirror that it is, sent back experiences to confirm your signal. That's why your affirmations felt empty. That's why your vision board stayed on the wall without breathing into reality. You were layering hope over fear without shifting the frequency at the core. But here's the miracle. Frequencies can change in an instant. The moment you decide to stop curating ruins and start constructing creation, the entire field reorganizes. Because the field doesn't respond to your history, it responds to your choice. The collapse you fear is not your enemy. It is your initiation into alignment. Every time a structure dissolved, it was not punishment. It was preparation. It was life saying, not this, not like this. Something truer is waiting to be born. Feel into that truth for a moment. Place your awareness on your heart and remember the last time you believed completely. Remember the fire in your chest when you dared to imagine more. That flame did not die when everything fell apart. It was buried, yes, but buried is not gone. Buried is waiting, and waiting is not the same as ending. That flame is still inside you asking to be uncovered. And the moment you choose to lift the rubble and breathe life into it again, you ignite a signal that travels across the quantum field, calling your future self into being. Most people live their entire lives tending the ruins, never realizing they were meant to be architects of worlds. They confuse healing with hiding, safety with stagnation. But you've been chosen by this very moment to hear this transmission, because you are not meant to stay small. You are not meant to live inside a loop of almosts and what-ifs. You are not meant to be a curator of fragments. You are meant to be the observer that collapses infinite, potential into living reality. Do you see it now? Every collapse was not a closed door. It was an opening. It was life peeling back the false layers so you could see what's eternal. The job that dissolved, the relationship that broke, the vision that crumbled. They were not evidence of your inadequacy. They were reminders that you are building quantum structures in a world that only understands the linear. Of course, it looked like failure to eyes that cannot see beyond matter. But in truth, you were training to align frequency with form. You were practicing how to hold a vision so strong that it bends reality to meet it. This is why the pain feels so heavy, because your soul refuses to shrink into the ordinary. That tension inside you is the friction between the version of you who is finished and the version who is rising. And the rising version is stronger. She is wiser. She carries scars as sacred scripts written into her very being. She knows collapse will come again and she does not fear it, because now she understands. Collapse is compost, not catastrophe. Every breakdown fertilizes the soil for a greater breakthrough. Imagine just for a moment, if you chose to see your scars as symbols of initiation, rather than evidence of defeat. What if the very cracks you've been hiding were actually windows for light to enter? What if the pain you've been carrying was not a burden but a teacher? What if every stone that fell was not meant to bury you but to form the foundation of something unshakable? Listen closely. You are not starting over. You are starting deeper. Every memory, every disappointment, every tear has been alchemized into wisdom, and wisdom is the only material strong enough to build something eternal. You are not the same dreamer you once were. You are an architect of frequencies now. You are someone who can see beyond appearances and feel into the fabric of reality itself. You are someone who understands that matter bends to consciousness, not the other way around. Think about the principle of entanglement. When two particles connect, they remain linked no matter how far apart they travel. Your present self is entangled with every version of you that ever dared to build. The child who first dreamed big, the adult who risked everything, the soul who watched it all crumble. They are all still connected to you. And when you choose right now to rise again, you send ripples not only into your future but backward through time, healing every version of you that ever felt broken. You give meaning to their struggle. You validate their risk. You transform their collapse into triumph. So let me ask you with every ounce of sincerity, what will you build now? Not someday. Not when you feel ready. Not when the timing is perfect. Now, with the wisdom of your scars, with the strength of your survival, with the clarity of someone who knows that endings are illusions. What structure is waiting for you to begin again? What vision is still knocking at the door of your consciousness? Begging to be acknowledged? You already know what it is. It has been whispering to you in the silence, haunting you in your quiet moments, and you've been pretending not to hear because you fear what it will cost you. But the greater cost is pretending you are finished when you are not. The universe does not demand perfection. It demands participation. It does not require certainty. It requires willingness. And the moment you declare with your entire being, I am willing to build again, the field shifts. Possibilities rearrange themselves. Doors appear where walls once stood. Pathways emerge in the very places that once felt blocked. That is the quantum nature of reality. It waits for your choice before it moves. You have been living as though collapse was the final word. But collapse was only the comma. The sentence continues. The story unfolds. And the moment you choose to be the observer who says, I am unfinished, everything begins again. The moment has arrived. Not in some distant tomorrow. Not after conditions are perfect. But right here, right now, you have been trained by collapse, sculpted by what fell apart, tempered by every fracture in your life. And all of it, every pain, every loss, every betrayal, was preparing you to step into the version of yourself that can build without fear, that can create without needing guarantees, that can rise knowing collapse is simply part of the rhythm of becoming. You are not starting over. You are stepping into the fullness of all you have ever been and all you are, destined to become. Imagine for a moment that the ground beneath you is alive, responsive, a mirror reflecting the frequency of your intention. When you choose courage, the soil opens. When you choose vision, the path reveals itself. When you decide to participate fully in the act of creation, the universe bends subtly to hold your dreams. And the beautiful truth is this: it does not matter if you stumble again. Every misstep is not a derailment. It is part of the choreography of your ascent. Every crack in the floor, every unstable wall, every collapse you feared, they are invitations to dance with life, to move with rhythm, to co-create with the infinite. You have been conditioned to believe that safety equals success, that avoiding risk equals protection. But safety is an illusion. Safety cannot contain your soul. It cannot hold the magnitude of what wants to emerge through you. The universe is not a place of guarantees. It is a place of infinite possibility. And infinite possibility requires risk, requires surrender, requires the willingness to rise again despite what you have lost. And when you choose risk, when you choose expansion, when you choose creation over curation, something remarkable happens. You realign not only with your own potential, but with the field itself. You broadcast a frequency that resonates far beyond your immediate experience, rippling outward and inviting others to remember their own power. Think of every structure you will ever build from this moment forward as sacred, not because it is perfect, not because it will never fall, but because it is infused with wisdom, intention, and the courage of someone who has seen the worst and still dared. You are building differently now. You are building not to impress, not to please, not to avoid disappointment. You are building from soul. You are building from consciousness. You are building from a place of knowing that every collapse, every setback, every rupture was information. A teacher, a map. You are building from understanding that destruction is never final. It is simply the reorganization of energy in service of what wants to manifest through you. And here is the deepest secret. Nothing you desire has ever truly been lost. The visions you hold, the dreams you have dared to imagine, the creations that fell, they have all been conserved in the quantum field, waiting for you to rise and claim them once again. The structures you thought were destroyed are already seeds for what is next. You do not need to gather them from rubble. They exist in possibility, and all you need to do is observe, decide, and act. You are the observer who collapses infinite potential into reality. You are the creator who turns energy into form. You are the architect who can take lessons, scars, wisdom, and hope and weave them into worlds that never existed before. Feel the weight of that truth. Let it settle into your bones. Let it fill every corner of your mind. You have been given everything you need to construct what matters most. You have been trained by collapse, sharpened by adversity, honed by experience. You are no longer innocent in the way you once were, but this is not a weakness, it is your power. You see the terrain now. You know the fragility of matter. You understand the resilience of energy. You have the clarity to navigate the invisible forces that shape reality. You can hold your vision steady even when everything around you shifts. You can be the calm in the storm, the conscious creator in the chaos. Let me remind you, your energy is the blueprint. Your frequency is the foundation. Your intention is the structure. And when you align these three, nothing can stop the architecture of your soul. Collapse may come, storms may rage, doubt may whisper, but you will rise each time with greater clarity, with deeper understanding, with more audacity. You are learning the secret the world has been trying to hide. Creation is not about permanence. Creation is about movement, expansion, evolution. Creation is not about control. It is about alignment. Creation is not about safety, it is about courage. Now, I want you to feel into this. What will you build from this place? Not what you wish you could build. Not what you imagined in moments of innocence. Not what was denied to you in the past. What wants to emerge through you right now? Close your eyes and sense it. Feel the stirrings in your chest, the tension in your shoulders, the fire in your belly. That is the blueprint. That is the call. That is the whisper of the universe saying, your turn, build. And it does not matter if it takes years or days. If the path is clear or obscured, if you succeed immediately or fail spectacularly, what matters is that you respond. What matters is that you step into participation. What matters is that you honor the energy within you that cannot rest until it has expressed itself fully. Every time you do this, you send ripples through the quantum field. You do not just transform your own reality, you give others permission to rise, to build, to expand. Your courage becomes contagious. Your vision becomes an invitation. Your action becomes a declaration that it is possible to risk, to create, to rise, and to evolve. The universe waits for participants, not spectators. And right now you are being asked to choose. Will you remain a curator of what has been broken? Or will you become the architect of what could be? Will you allow fear to define your life? Or will you allow courage, wisdom, and soul to guide your next move? Remember this, the very thing you fear will happen again. You may stumble. You may falter. You may see walls crumble and paths disappear. But the difference now is you are not innocent, you are seasoned. You understand that collapse is not destruction. It is information. It is compost. It is preparation. And when you embrace this truth fully, the breakdown becomes the breakthrough. The ending becomes the beginning. The destruction becomes the canvas for creation. You are learning to dance with cycles of rise and fall, to partner with uncertainty, to build in alignment with infinite possibility. So I invite you now to declare it, not quietly, not for yourself alone. Speak it aloud if you can. I am unfinished. I am building. I am not done. Say it with your whole being, with your chest, with your heart, with your soul. Let it resonate through the room, through your body, through your reality. Let it echo across the field of possibility. Because this is the moment of awakening, the moment of choice, the moment where the quantum field waits for your signal to collapse infinite potential into your new reality. You are no longer the person who feared collapse. You are no longer the person who doubted. You are no longer the one who stayed small. You are the observer, the creator, the architect. You are alive with possibility. You are radiating frequency. You are collapsing potential into form. And as you step forward, as you build, as you rise, the world itself will rise with you. The ruins behind you are no longer your identity. They are your training ground. The path ahead is your creation. The moment to begin is now. If these words resonate with you, if something inside you is stirring, I want you to take a step right now. Comment below with this phrase, "I choose to build again." Say it not because it's easy, not because fear is gone, but because your soul came here to create, not to curate ruins. Subscribe to stay connected to this frequency of fearless creation, to join a community of people choosing courage over comfort, expansion over stagnation, and creation over despair. Share this video with someone who needs this reminder today, because every time you choose to rise, you give permission for someone else to do the same. The universe listens, the field responds, and your choice has power. Your story is not finished. It's time to build again.